be supportive, take me with you, cuz today's episode of Sound Architect, I'm going to be talking specifically about how to make melodies, how to make harmonies for your songs and your lyrics. Coming right up, let's go. So what is up, everybody? I am Legend, as you may already know, and in today's video I'm talking all about melodies and harmonies, how to make them, how to record them, how to come up with these things, especially if you're a beginner who doesn't really know too much about the music theory side of things. I'm going to be trying to do my best to explain the way that I come up with melodies and harmonies for my songs, being that I am self-taught. I do understand music theory, but coming from a standpoint of not so technical. Now this does obviously require some level of an ear to hear, you know, different chords and different melodies and things that sound nice, at least pleasing to the average ear. But as long as you can tell what's out of key, what's in key, then this shouldn't be a problem for you. It's very hard to create something from scratch. So I'm gonna try and give you some of the tools necessary and the tips necessary to begin your songwriting process and add the notes to your lyrics, or to even just build like a rough melody to write lyrics to, using some very simple techniques that I personally use myself. So without further ado, I'm gonna actually make a small little loop to a song that I've been working on since Sunday, and I want to come up with like a live recording to show you guys how I would go about building the song. Let's jump into the computer, make this beat, and we will see what I do. All right, enough talking, let's go. So what I'm gonna do here is the process that I go through when I'm trying to come up with harmonies for a song. But in order to do that, first I want to break down my process as far as my beat making, because beat making is a part of how I create my melodies. When I'm making my beats, or when I'm deciding on what beats to use if somebody sends me something, I take cues from the music to kind of get an idea of where I want my melody to go in the song, and also depending on what I'm going to say in the song. So I'm just kind of messing around with this piano sound. So this is actually an idea that I came up with this past Sunday. I was feeling inspired. I was feeling like the, you know, V-Day mood and all that stuff. And I came up with this idea on the piano, kind of just humming this melody. So essentially what is going on here is I'm kind of using the piano and the part that I came up with on the instrumentation side to help me craft what I'm going to do as far as the melody goes. Sometimes there's multiple ways you can approach a melody or a harmony in a song, and sometimes the most simplest way, I'll say, is to follow what the music is doing. That's the easiest way. It's like when you sing "Twinkle, twinkle, little star." So you're basically mimicking exactly what the music is doing. Follow the music first and foremost. So in this case, so I'm just letting the music play, and I'm coming up with these ideas. Tell me where you're going. So you hear at that end of those phrases, there's that. I'm playing with that, with my melody as well, and the lyrics, whatever I'm gonna say. Tell me where you're going. Tell me where you're going. Following the bass line. Tell me where. I'm not following it note wise, but rhythm wise. Bum, bum, bum. Tell me where you're going. So I'll say first and foremost, you want to pay attention to the rhythms. So you want to come up with just the rhythm first. At least that's what I do. So and then after that, that's when you can start venturing off into the melody part of that arrangement. And when it comes to notes, follow exactly what it is you're playing. So I could have did something like this. If you listen to the chords that I'm playing, this is what's happening on the higher end. It's kind of like the melody that's leading the progressions. So So that's the melody in terms of what I'm playing on the keys itself. If you don't know music theory to know that well enough, you just try and follow what feels natural to you, because something like a lot of people are able to tell the melody in a song, even not knowing music theory. That just comes with us being around music so long, and we know things without even thinking in the back of our minds. So I could have easily made a melody that was like, I don't know, and then but I wanted to play around more with the rhythm of this, give it a little bit more character, and allow myself to say more words than what that phrasing would allow me to say. So one thing that really helps me also is the phrasing and what I'm saying exactly. That's why I come up with like dummy tracks, and people like Ryan Leslie with his gibberish song. All alone, I'll stop away. It just helps you to come up with some random melody to some random gibberish that doesn't even mean anything. So I just so I'm still following what the music is doing, but not exactly to a T. But also what helps me with this is, and this goes with music theory, this is why it's important to start learning music theory. You don't have to be a professional in it or know all the ins and outs and all the crazy stuff, but to have a rough knowledge of scales, that can really help, because this song, the scale is da 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 da. This is the key that the song is in. I'm just doing progressions around this key. I don't know what this key is because I know everything by ear, but I know by sound. That's the thing. What is that? C, D, E, F, G, G sharp, or A flat, however you want to see that as. Knowing the scale, knowing the key of the song, and knowing at least the scale of a song can tremendously help you craft different melodies and different harmonies. So knowing that this is the scale, I'm going to naturally gravitate towards all of those notes within that scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 different notes in the scale to help you craft your melody. So I'm using and these are all notes that are within the scale. I'm just playing them in a different order. And I'll show you what I came up with my vocals, but I'll play it on the piano just to show that it's all within that scale of this song. So it's not like I'm venturing outside of the things that I'm already doing, the things that I'm already utilizing. So this is one way to come up with melodies for your songs. I met a girl named from the deep south. I'm talking way down. Tell me where she going. I'm not gonna blow down that baby. I'm at a baba, then I'm at a baba. And then since I had that bass sound around there, I wanted to come up with something that would accent that and change up from what I'm already doing, because you don't want to just keep doing the same thing over and over. You want to throw in some other little curveballs, the same way that I do with my beats, I do with my vocals as well. So if a verse is doing the same thing for the first 2 counts, I'll change it to where the next 2 counts it'll do something else. So what I came up with, instead of I changed the rhythm to da 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 da. So da 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 da. And then also, if you notice, I'm also taking into account what the drums might be doing in this song to keep breaks for my rhythm, which again, the rhythm will help craft the melody as well, because you're thinking of different phrases and things you can say. So I'm leaving those breaks where the snare is going to be. I wanna break, blink with you, and then it hits when that last hit comes in. But you break, take me itch. So it's all a matter of everything being in harmony and just playing around with different options that you have, from the rhythm starting. I'll say the rhythm is like the skeleton that I would personally go with. Get the rhythm first, then the melody comes from the scale of the song. And then change it up. It's still within our scale. Relatively within the same area. There are times where you can break these rules. There are times where you can step outside of just doing scales and things like that, because that's going to box you in if you think too on the dot, too logically. I'm just going to add some quick jumps to this and export it, and then I will start recording so I can show you how I come up with my harmonies as well. Here's a cool thing, a little tidbit about GarageBand. If you have a MIDI controller attached, what you can do to find out the key of your song, if you know how to play it, you can come over here to software instrument. It gives you this. And this project thing at the top, if you play the chord, this is an A flat chord. Let's count it in actually. I met a girl named Cotton from the deep south, talking way down, tell me where she going. I let them bone pain, blind them, letting me bow. I'm at them lay bound, tell me where I'm going. I'm gonna be done, I'm up for you. I'm what you gonna do. I'm glad I'm not waiting with you. You got a dream, girl, I ain't stopping you from what you wanna do. I'll be supportive, take me, cause hey, I know that I know that that's gonna be rough, but just for the sake of time, I met a girl named Cotton from the deep south, talking way down, tell me where she going. I let them bone pain, blind them, letting me bow. I'm at them lay bound, tell me where I'm going. Hey, I'm gonna be done, I'm up for you. Hey, I'm what you gonna do. Hey, I'm glad I'm not waiting with you. Hey, you got a dream, girl, I ain't stopping you. Hey, from what you wanna do. Hey, I'll be supportive, take me with you, cause so, I mean, you see I'm playing with the harmonies right there. The same way that I come up with melodies is the same way that I come up with harmonies. I just do whatever is within the scale. So let's go to this electric piano. Another. So right now the melody's going. I'm coming up to the next part. Another. That would be like if we're playing a full chord, and this is where again actual theory comes into play. If you know chords and things like that, and the harmonics between blah blah blah, that's where this really does come into play, because this is our home chord. It's just inverted. So right now I'm going da, 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 da. So I'm going to come to the next note in that chord, which is So you heard what I was coming up with. It was the third note. And then the bottom one that I was coming up with was So our note comes. If you know scales and you know chords, or you know roughly like the harmonic differences between one note and the next note to be able to come up with this stuff. I know in all actuality, I would never probably on this part put those harmonies, because I think that that initial is enough. And then at the very most, I'll do the second one. So we went from just our basic little idea to coming up with the rhythm for it. Actually having notes. Talking way down, tell me where she go, and then changing. All within the scale of this. And then of course, when the harmonies come in, I know that whatever I came up with. But hopefully that gives you some sort of idea of how to approach coming up with melodies, harmonies, things like that. It's the base level stuff. This is not getting into anything that's too complicated. I think anybody can learn the basic scales and the intervals between different notes to come up with a scale in any key. So if this was in a different key, if this was in, it's the same thing as this. I played that wrong, but you get it. It's just in a different key. So it's the same amount of intervals in between the notes, but just in a different key. So study just really basic music theory, study scales, and I promise you that's going to be the one thing that helps you the most, if not anything else. Knowing at least what key you're in and the scale of that key, you have all the different options. All those notes. All those notes to play around with in your melodies, and then endless amounts of rhythms that you can come up with. You know, that's just down to, that's really all I have to say, man. I mean, I hope this video helped in some way. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, turn on the bell notification so you'll be notified every time I upload a brand new video. But as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video next Tuesday. Stay legendary.